All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. That's Serral on the left side of your screen. That was Oliveira on the right, and then we've got Maru on the left, Solar on the right. Because that's right, it's Serral versus Maru 2v2 edition. And oh my god, Oliveira's proxy raxing. Okay, hold your horses, guys. Serral down here in the teal Zerg, and his teammate Oliveira the blue. So they're going to be the kind of bluey teal team up against Maru in the top, who's red, his orange teammate Solar. This is the WTL. Now you might think it's the grand finals of the 2v2 tournament. It's not, it's the round of 8. It's the round of 8. There is a bunch more matches after this that are meant to be pretty epic as well. Good luck, have fun, said Solar 4 times. Serral Vera did not respond, and Solar dropping the smack talk says, "So BM, what's wrong with you idiots?" And they're like, "Guys, we don't want to distract from the fact that we're cheesing you." So they are doing a 13 gas 12 pool. So Serral's doing a 1 baseling Bane all in, combined with double proxy racks Reaper from Oliveira. Solar has gone hatch first, which means he's going to be really vulnerable. And the problem is that Maru and Solar did not scout. They didn't scout. They have no defense. Maru's trying to get a factory up right now, but they are being so greedy. They did not expect Team Serral to cheese early on. Oh, now some of you may have seen that obviously there was a clip going around of Serral going, "Are Marines that good?" I don't know if that was from this series or another series, but hopefully we do get to see that at some point. The Reaper there does go for a nice grenade. I don't know if that was because their Marines were getting slaughtered or by Maru's Marines, or if their Marines were doing the slaughtering. All I know is there was a viral clip going around. Solar's in big trouble right now. This is a great way to start off a 2v2 series. Whoever attacks first gets momentum because you can isolate the enemy units, and there's just so little defense. Serral does overcommit with his Lings a little bit though, and he's attacking the natural. I think he just killed the Queen on the natural expand. Remember, I am not observing with this one. He's gonna go after the Queen. The Reapers come in of Maru though. Serral's in big trouble. He's just lost a bunch of units. These Reapers are cornered. Oh, there's a Hellion as well. I think Maru and Solar might actually have this hold. Solar with excellent micro... And he drops the easy in the chat. Maru cracked a grin there. Solar's doing the smack talk for the whole team, but we actually got Maru to show a bit of emotion. He's got a big fat smile on his face. Serral has a bit more of a pain smile going, "Yeah, this did not work out. This is not what we were going for. We wanted the win." And they're going to find the barracks, which means they're going to have to cancel those Reapers, lift the barracks, and send them home. Oh, Maru has a big fat grin that will not leave his face. He knows that they have pooped all over this. It's a big giant map. I still feel that if Serral and Oliveira went for 3 racks Reaper there and full committed to Banelings, I do think they could have absolutely killed them. I think that the problem they made there is they played 1v1 builds and they did transitions off. If they just went all in, they would have been good. Now, Solar and Maru on the counteroffensive, that Hellion Reaper is a big problem for the Zerglings because the Hellion splash is so big, not to mention the Banelings in here. A tank is building for Oliveira, but it's just started. It's not going to be here in time. Oh my god, the Queens and Reapers need to focus the Banelings down. I don't know if they're going to be able to. A Baneling already hit Serral Zerglings. The other Baneling hits, the Reapers go down. Oh, Serral Vera. Oh, GGing out in 4 minutes, just under 20 seconds. Solar getting out of his chair saying, how's that taste, boys? Big drink of his winning juice. Maru laughing as he leans forward in his chair. And holy crudsicles, I never knew I needed this 2v2 in my life until WTL has hosted this tournament. This is legendary. All right, next map's Emerald City. Looking very stern and serious. Team Serral Vera, no smiles there. Solar and Maru still looking pretty chill. Solar looks very focused. Solar wants to push these nerds into the ground. You can tell they're talking strategies. Emerald City's been in the map pool for a long time. This is a classic, very defensive map. There's a very exposed gold base out front though. And it looks like both sides going for expand builds. You can tell that because the Terrans haven't taken a second gas. Neither of them has. So they're both going to go 1 racks expand. The Zergs have both gone hatchery first. Of course, Maru... Whoa, that's not a 1 racks expand. That's a 1 gate expand. Maru is playing Protoss? Whoa. Maru is about 6.5k Protoss, I've heard. And I've seen him play very good with Protoss. I don't think he's as experienced as like Reyna. Obviously, Reyna almost beat Dark in a grand finals with his Protoss. Reyna would argue that he didn't lose that series because he actually went 3-3 in map score with Dark. And he only lost the Zerg versus Zerg, right? So he's like, if I just played Protoss every game, I would have won, which is classic Reyna, a true beast. He's like, I didn't lose. I drew with him in that grand finals of that. I think it was Champions Cup, Alpha X tournament, which is awesome. But Maru's still, you'll see him on his stream occasionally power up some Protoss and kick butt against top tier players. Solar seems to be talking a lot, so I think he's probably telling Maru what strat to do. I feel like Solar would be the shot caller in this matchup. Serral Vera, of course, anyone who didn't see our previous cast of them, Time Oliveira has perfect English. He says he has really bad English. It's like when a Swedish person apologizes for their bad English and you realize they speak better than literally half of the people you went to school with in a native English-speaking country, and you're like, you shut your mouth. You literally speak more proper English than me. I'm like, oh, this build's making me excited, yeah. And he's just like, this build is rather interesting and quite exciting. And you're like, okay, Time, seriously, can you stop, dude? Like, you speak English better than I do. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable with my level of general education.
Thanks for the bit.
Adept is going to start picking off some Zerglings out the front. We'll see how it goes. Reaper coming in as well. Solar Zerglings will chase it. Baneling Nest's on the way for Serral. Now, that could just be for safety. Looks like there's a factory coming in as well behind this for Mr. Oliveira. That Reaper Grenade ain't going to do much. Sees the Stargate. Okay, so Maru's playing Stargate. Now, is that going to be Oracle? Yeah. Protoss is got to be the best race in 2v2 that is also the worst race. So let me explain this for people who don't know. Because everyone, if you speak to the hardcore 2v2 players, they always say one thing. Terran Protoss is the Imba combo. They just have the best late game, right? Because you have Tempests and Carriers. Tempests win the long-range siege war. Carriers, obviously, are just a great, well-rounded air unit. And then you have, like, Tanks and Thors on the ground, which is just a great late-game combo. The problem with Protoss is always getting there. Protoss is very weak against timing attacks. They have these big windows where if you go Oracles, they're good for harassing, but you don't have much of a follow-up on the ground for a long time. And it's hard if you get rushed to reactively and quickly help your opponent, because Protoss naturally in the early and mid-game relies on like camping and shield batteries and defending behind wall-offs with just a handful of units a lot of the time. So if you're building Oracles and Phoenix, helping your teammate survive a 2v1, you're like, hey, here's 2 Adepts, a Stalker, and a Sentry. And they're like, really? That's all you're bringing over? You're like, I have 2 Phoenix as well. Like, it's not that great. Now, that's my experience, of course, and what I've seen in pro play. It's really about getting your opponents on the defense, trying to harass them, pick off units. But the 2-1-1 is coming in for Oliveira, and that is scary because we've seen what Serral Vera can do with a double drop of Marines. If they start to shoot down the Phoenix and get that number low enough, he can just pick up and reposition with no threat, because Zerg also suffers from no mobile anti-air. So if Protoss loses control of that Phoenix versus Marine battle and like lets him get in the base or something, the Zerg can't control where the drops move to. The Queens can only move around on creeps, so they can't really move through Maru's base to help him defend. And the double drop of Marines has such damage, firepower output, such density. It's very difficult to deal with. Serral is going into Roaches, but he's building a few more Lings. So it looks like he wants to pressure with about 15, maybe 20 Zerglings to try and join up with the Marines. Him and Solar skirmishing in the middle of the map. Right now, Solar and Maru on over 100 workers. Serral Vera only at about 90 workers. Oh, and well, guess what? Workers do not defend a 2-1-1. Baneling Ling at the front is distracting the Phoenixes. Solar does not have many Roaches out right now. And Serral getting some good damage. The Lings are going to try to run past. Good choice to pull back. That was a really good choice. All he needs to do is keep those units alive, threatening, and it allows these Marines to be more of a problem because these Lings are occupied. I think Oliveira's done a great job, but he's very damaged. He does not want to fight the Phoenix and the Roaches and the Stalkers at the same time, so both of them are going to pull back. Serral Vera is now at 100... There are about 105 workers versus just about very similar, guys. Just about similar workers on both sides. Similar supply. Colossus Phoenix for Maru. So he's saying, well, if I get Colossus, that'll shore up the fact that my Phoenix aren't really good in a frontal fight. Solar's going Roaches, but it still feels like Solar is in a very pressured position to build army right now. Whereas Serral Vera don't have to worry about a timing attack, because no one's going to do a timing attack with Phoenix. Phoenix are a late game harassment unit, right? So I think Serral Vera can be very greedy in the next minute or two, and or go and hit a big all-in attack and try to overwhelm Solar, because there's only going to be like one Colossus out to help. And it looks like Marine tank pressuring across the map. Third base is only just starting for Oliveira. Serral's up on 65 workers, rallying Mass Roach Ravager across the map. Feels like a lot of upgrades. Second Evo Infestation coming in for Serral right now. And actually, lots of Ravagers being made defensively for Solar. Oh, okay, so I think Solar is definitely feeling the pressure right now. Him and Maru see this army coming. They don't know how committed this is. Hive goes down for Serral. Serral is actually trying to make a baneling run by on the right side as this happens. This is really fascinating. Solaru. Yes, I should call them Solaru or Marula. I don't know why. We're going to call them Solaru, I guess? I don't know. Maru Solar just sounds better. I like Maru's name. I think I just love Maru too much. Solaru, or Mola. Mola is another name we could use for the Maru Solar team. Big ling run by for Solar on the left side. Oliveira has a few roaches helping him out. Oh, the Biles from Solar! Gets one of the tanks, the second one barely surviving. The Phoenix want to come in. They need to get rid of the Marines before they can do that, though. I think Serral Vera need to get out of there, because you don't want to lose a fight to Phoenix. Oh, big ling run by came in. Solar's lost like 20 drones. Solar's worker line completely cleared on his third base. Meanwhile, Oliveira, whose third got hit by a ling run by, doesn't look like he lost any SCVs. Oh, this is the problem. This is a big problem. This is a big problem. There's going to be a recall. Maru recalls onto the Marines. The Colossus gets some big hits off, but it gets focused down. This is a crazy fight for Oliveira. And he does end up losing a lot of it, but Serral shoves the front at the same time. Serral has a big economy. Oliveira does as well. They are ahead on the momentum. And remember, I said the Phoenix play is weak to timing attacks, to quick rotations into the main when the Phoenix aren't in position. That's exactly what Oliveira and Serral are doing. Now, I got to say, Oliveira's supply ain't looking too crash hot. He's got a good economy, but he took a lot of losses to that recall on the Phoenix in the main. Serral got some good damage done in the front, though. I think it's Solar's income being so low that's a bit scary right now. I think it's more okay for Oliveira to be at 53 workers than it is for a Zerg player. Serral has a very big army right now, and I don't see any counter push timing for Maru. Maru's trying to go Phoenix range and a Twilight Council, but Vipers are already out. Oh no. Maru is committing to even more Phoenix right now, and Vipers hard counter Phoenix with Parasitic Bomb. I mean, on their own, a single Parasitic Bomb won't do it. But in a battle, a Parasitic Bomb basically forces the Phoenix to scramble out of there unless you have God tier splits on getting them out. There we go. First Parasitic Bomb does some damage. But you can see Maru's pretty quick at spreading them. Doesn't take the... Oh, he does take a fair bit, actually. He accidentally clumped them too early. Carrier's starting up for Maru now, realizing, oh god, he's already got Vipers. I need to get to that late game army. But Solar's kind of on his own down here. He's trying to make his own Vipers, but he's not there just yet. Oh man, the Vipers are here. Oh, almost biles them, but Serral dodges at the last second. The Roach Ravager Marine tank coming on forward. The Phoenix are here with the Marines behind the Roaches. I don't think that's going to matter. Colossus, not that good versus Roaches. The Colossus need to be hitting the Marines, but the Abducts go down on 1 and number 2. The Phoenix shoot down the Vipers, but not before the Colossus are removed from the battlefield. The Marines, their tanks, and the Roaches shoving forward. Serral Vera using momentum and aggressive timings to do it. Maru and Solar are laughing. Maru is like, lol. Oh, me Protoss didn't work. Doesn't seem to be too worried or worked up about it, whereas Serral Vera looked a bit more serious on the cams. All right, next map's Catalesque. Serral with the trophy sticking out of his head. The camera shot that we know and love. Maru and Solar are still smiling. It looks like there is a cage in the back left there of Solar's camera. I think maybe to keep a child or a dog out of his playing area. Maybe he always had his puppy bothering him while he was playing, so he like set up a little fence, childproof fence, so it couldn't get in there. Oliveira's down the bottom right side, so him and Serral are going to be down here, still just sticking to their Terran and Zerg. Maru, on the other hand, playing Terran again. He says, okay, all right, back to me, best race. Protoss on the defensive with the Phoenix. It feels really good when your opponents just take damage to the Phoenix and let you kind of dictate what's happening, but the moment those two armies join up on the front and start abusing the frontal push, the mobility, it really feels like the Zerg, the Solar in that last game, had to have the brunt of the defensive army to beat two players, and that just does not feel good, man. Pig, your new video has more comments than likes. Like the video, fam. It's all good. It's all good. Double barracks coming out of Maru. Command center first. Ooh, okay, this is cool. That's super cool. Apparently the alert sounds are on. Ooh, that's a mistake. Sorry about that, guys. My man. Appreciate the subs, guys. But yeah, that is a mistake. Thank you very much. The heads up. Triple barracks. So Maru's going to go heavy into the Marines. I mean, that's going to make him safe from any sort of all-in timing or anything. On the other hand, Oliveira has actually gone double gas. So he's done more of like a TVT opening. They could go for a quick tank push. That's actually something, you know, if you go like Roach, Ravager, Siege Tank, Marine with like a medevac or something, That's going to be very hard for them to defend because Maru will not have the ability to build tanks for a long time. He's basically got to just make mass unupgraded Marine for the first 6 minutes of the game. And that does slow him down a fair bit. So I really like the idea of Oliveira going straight for tanks and just getting up across the map. He's actually going to go Hellion to start. He's just going to try and put on some real simple pressure. Solo really good on his micro, though. Maru still has a grin on his face, man. I love that he's just enjoying it so much. Apparently these players just... I think just being able to play a different competitive environment is a joy for them. As much as pro players complain if their biggest events get screwed up by balance or maps, you give them extra events with fun stuff to play in, and they do love it. Mass Reaper Hellion seems to be the play from Oliveira, which can do very well versus unupgraded Marines, especially since Maru's taking time to build Reactor Tech Lab. So Reactor Tech Lab does slow down production for a little bit. Serral, though, is going for the fastest mutas ever. Oh my god! Whoa, I just realized his lair's already done. Guys, Serral's Spire started at 3 minutes. Okay, so basically, the whole point here is Oliveira is just going to apply heavy pressure to keep them busy with Reaper Hellion. Solar's making Lingbane to defend, which could do an explosive counterattack. But I think mutas are going to be out so fast. That they should be able to then follow up with mutas, and then Oliveira will be able to transition into the next step. So this is the 1-2 punch style of 2v2. Rather than joining forces for combined attacks, which is what they've mostly done up to now, they're swapping it up into one player goes super aggressive while the other goes super greedy on the tech, and then you switch gears, and Serral gets super aggressive with the mutatech while Oliveira goes super greedily into a third base most likely after that. This is really cool. The scan goes down, and I think they're realizing, oh god, something's up. Serral already has a finished lair, and he's going to be able to build about 6 or 7 mutas the moment that Spire pops, which is awesome for him. You can see Serral's already got the extra supply free. Maru is going into factory finishing now, so he's going to be going into medevacs and that sort of stuff. But it's a bit of a pain as the Zerg Solar here. He's committed to so many Zerglings. He feels like he needs to do something aggressive before these Mutalisks pop, but the Mutas are already almost out. I think Solar might have missed his timing. This is going to be really, really close. If he can at least cancel Serral's third, that would be something, though. This Hellion comes in, sees there's not that many drones on the natural, which means Solar has a terrible economy. He can't afford Spore Crawlers right now. He's got to do damage. Maru sneaking Marines around the right side of the map as well. They snuck this army across. I don't think Serral Vera know it's coming, but the Mutas find it, and they find the Banelings, which means the Banelings have to get behind the Marines. That's not that many Marines, though, and already Serral making this difficult to get in here. Remember, there's multiple tanks out now, and if Time can move those forward, if Oliveira can move those forward to cover the third base, if they don't even lose the third base, this is a disaster for Maru and Solar. Maru has a smile on his face. Solar, you could see shaking his head, moving forward. He's like, oh, we're actually screwed. He's like, dude, those mutas are way faster than I ever thought you could get mutas. We need to go home. Maru's like, yeah, we do. But like, you know, we're probably dead if we don't do more damage right now. Solar's, you could tell from his face, not happy. They're trying to like hang out front the base and exert some form of threat. But they realize it's a very difficult situation because the moment they move home, those mutas are going to start harassing them. Serral's looking like he wants to go Hive. So I wonder if he's going to go... Oh, he's going Lurkers behind it. Oh, Serral! Serral loses almost 3 mutas there. Oh, that's a bummer. You can see Serral leaning forward a little bit in his chair, not happy that he let some mutas get caught in the middle. He's also going to go take a corner base because he figures defending a 4th might be difficult, but if he can just sneak hatcheries in the corner, that'd be a cute way to do it. Now, Solar's droned back up, and he's actually up to 42 workers. Maru on 49, so they're not too far behind on overall workers. And Maru, though... are they doing a 2-base all-in? Maru seems to be just going 5 barracks right now, so Maru wants them to do a 2-base all-in. Ooh, and if they can get in there before Lurkers are out, that'll be big. But if Serral gets Lurkers out, I'll tell you what, Marine tank with some Ling Bane, I don't think that's going to do anything. Like, I also wonder what Solar's tech choice is going to be. Is it just Bane speed? I think he might just be trying to play Baneling speed. Oh, mutas catch Banelings. Serral's doing such a good job with these, and I like that he just played a small pack of mutas, forces a big response, and he's already got Hydras on the way. The Lurker Den's halfway done, as is that Hive almost finished. This is a nasty game of just switching up the tech very quickly. Oliveira is going to try and move those tanks to the left side. Doesn't want to lose that command center as it's very exposed right now. The mutas trying to scout the location of the army, luring those Marines around, but I think the tanks have moved far enough forward now. Very dangerous to push into this. Maru can siege it with his tank. Maru does start a 3rd command center on location behind it, so he's technically not all in, but he's still very committed. Oh, God! Oliveira is actually going to get overwhelmed, at least from his front 2 tanks and the 3rd command center. Maru and Solar get a big pick off there. Oh, just when I thought the tech of Serral Vera was too much, they find damage, and it's a very important damage because Solar's up to 70 workers behind it. He's going extra queens, +1 range. I think he's thinking about teching into his own lurkers. They scan and see the hive and the lurker dead, and immediately, you know, Solar and Maru are like, dude, he has hive tech lurkers. And that is a nightmare. When you're at this stage of the game, you just never are here in a 1v1. Your opponent should not have mutas and lurkers when you're still stuck on Marines and Zergling Baneling. This is a very uncomfortable position. They're in deep, muddy waters right now. Maru does save some units on the right side. The Cloak Banshees of Oliveira being a pain. Oh, nice scan. Does catch Oliveira's Banshee, but hey, it costs a scan. It's not free. Remember, that would be 225 minerals that you'd mine with that mule. Otherwise, that the 50 energy could have been spent on. Solar's trying to catch up on the hive. If you can get Vipers, that'll be big. Double drop gets in. It's just going to take out the spawning pool. Not the most important tech, but, you know, any damage is better than no damage. Notice he leaves the broodlings of the spawning pool. Doesn't want to activate that straight away. And there's no super mobile anti-air for Maru Solar. So these drops can be a nuisance. And, oh, he gets 1 medevac, 2 medevacs, picks up, tries to get out of there. Oh, barely gets boost ready. Does save both medevacs, only loses 5 Marines for all that damage. Muta's going to go in. Serral tries to pull back the weak Muta, but Solar's focus fire too good. Ends up being 2 Mutas for 1 Queen trade. Maru's going into Ghost Tech right now. He says, hey, Ghosts are where it's at versus Zerg. Don't know if that's the best late game unit against the Terran player, but nukes are always going to come in handy as well, and I'd love to see those as this game goes on. Solar's finally remembered about his hatchery in the corner, which has basically just done nothing all game. And he's only really on 3 bases, so Serral's economy did slow down a little bit. He's going to get the gases in the top right at least. He's trying to go for like all the upgrades now, and even adding Roach Tech, and it feels like Serral got lurkers so early, but they didn't really use it. And I do wonder if either lurker harass or doing a big lurker push with Oliveira's Marine tank, maybe there was a timing there. Does feel like Maru and Solar are going to be safe against that once Vipers are on the field, and they are all popping out now. Marines get a bunch of Queens there. He's going to lose a bunch of Marines, gets a Siege tank as well. And nice pick up and get out of there. Is that a nuke in the back of the base? What is that? Oh, it's a Nidus Worm. I was like, what is that marker on the minimap? Serral is trying to Nidus lurkers in the back of Maru's main. Oliveira is going to start doom dropping as well. Oh my god, they didn't see it. They didn't see the Nidus Worm. Oh no! Lurkers burrowing in the back. It's only 2 lurkers to start, but already that's a good amount of damage. A few SCVs go down. A lot of the production can get taken out. They're finally finding Serral's base at the top right. Is drones trying to evacuate. Oh man, all the infrastructure going down. He's losing engineering bays, armories, depots. Oh, that's a big problem. And it's just so difficult to remove those lurkers. Doom drops hitting in the main base of Solar, but Blinding Cloud. Oh, if he abducted. You had energy, Solar. He could have abducted all those medevacs into the Hydras and shot them down, but there's so much going on right now. Oliveira gets another base snipe, and of course, Serral in the back door is causing such a disruption. I'll tell you what, man, StarCraft's a hard game, but when Serral just appears by surprise, knocking on your back door, you're not ready, and he just slides into your house and decides to have dinner with you at your kitchen table. You're like, we weren't prepared for guests. We don't even have extra food. And he just takes it right off your plate. He says, don't worry, I'll eat yours. That's exactly what's happening to Solar and Maru right now. Serral is being an unwelcome dinner guest. And yeah, he does it very well, man. This man was a drifter in a previous life. Oh, God. Okay, that's a good cleanup. A lot of lurkers go down, but they've cleared out the back base. Solar Maru took a lot of damage. Serral Vera, of course, way up in the worker count overall right now and having full map control. Let's see if they can convert off it, though. Still mostly a Marine tank army here. That's a pretty big force for Solar Maru. The tanks aren't sieged. Uh-oh. Oliveira getting caught out on his own. Yeah, this was a big mistake. I feel like they are losing a bit of coordination. If Serral can go for a big lurker morph, then they can join up on the front, but otherwise they should stick to drop play for now. The problem with the drops is the Vipers. We haven't seen many Abducts yet, but Abducts to take out those medevacs will shut them down. Oliveira is bleeding out Marines, but these Marines in the top left are going to kill some Vipers. He gets one of the Vipers and continues to be annoying. I don't know why there aren't more parasitic bombs dropping that. I guess Solar's busy looking down here, but he cannot get through those lurkers. Get out of there, Solar. Good pull back for Solar. Solar's max. Maru 164 supply. Overall, their supply still looks good. Maru does have the ability to just withstand punch after punch and survive and get back in the game. And I'm not good at numbers. Apparently the work account was exactly equal at that moment. Twitch chat calling me out. Maru's work account is not good. Correction. And he lost a command center in the top left as well, I think. Though, actually, one's back there. So maybe he just lifted it and re-landed it. Nidus going up in the main base again. Oh, man, these Niduses are so annoying. How are there no units there to deal with it? Oh, that's so unlucky that there weren't any units popping out. And they will deal with it. Abducts to deal with these lurkers. I think this one's not going to be as impactful. Especially with abducts, but... Oh, and Solar catches Serral in the middle of the map. Oh, Serral Vera, but big army on the top goes through. So Oliveira still gets around. He's going to take out some of the tanks, but I think Serral Vera are getting a bit fast and loose. They keep trying to catch him with their pants down, which often results in you making your opponent fall over in their own poo. But right now, it feels like Serral Vera are actually stumbling through the opponent's latrine and getting just as much sticky stuff on their boots as their opponents. It's definitely an issue. They've got to make sure they clean up these attacks, get a bit more coordinated. I'm still waiting for a Lurker Marine tank combo. I really think they could have done a frontal push, but they've thrown away a lot of Marines, a lot of tanks, a lot of Lurkers, and now Maru Solar. I mean, these guys are still close to max. They're still at 120 workers total. They're floating bases out to the top right. I mean, Serral Vera are spreading, but Lurker run by in the bottom side as well. Hopefully we get a shot of it soon. Good defense for Oliveira in the middle, pushes that army back. We haven't got a shot of the bottom left. Yeah, this is that Lurker harass I was talking about on the mini-map. But Oliveira just cancels the command center, pulls his SCVs. He should be okay. It's a disruption. Those sort of Lurker sieges, it's more about can that force a bigger play? Because while your opponents are distracted, the army's moving around the top right of the map. And that is going to be an issue if they catch Serral Vera out of position. This big Solar army's coming through the middle, but it's on its own. So Solar Maru are playing the split push style. And if you get surrounded doing that, you can get in trouble. Abducts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Lurkers get abducted. The sixth one does get back. Great parasitic bomb. A Sanger comes in. Big sandwich there. Oliveira closes in, and that's the danger of pushing on your own. He gets his whole army sandwiched. Maru wants to take advantage, though, and he shoves forward in the south. He sieges his tanks right there. It's a killer position. He's got to siege those tanks, and he does. Oh, this is massive damage. He's right up in Oliveira's extra bases and production. That's Oliveira's third and fourth base. Oh, this is a big problem. Oliveira's trying to deal with it. So, Serral is trying to counterattack right now. Maru may have got the winning position in the bottom left of the map. Solar sacrificed an army to make this happen. He was the Bothan spies that died to get the information on the Serral Vera Death Star. Maru slides in there and lands that bloody photon torpedo. I know, wrong law. Just right, and does manage to take it down. Can't remember the name of what Luke shot into that thing. Anyways, Lurkers sieged up in the middle. Bit of an ambush there. Good position, slowing down. But oh god, here comes the Sanger. Blinding clouds from Serral are good. Most of his Vipers were out of energy, though. He's got to be careful. Those EMPs from Maru. And Maru even saves a few of his units in the medevacs. And that once again pulls Oliveira Serral to the bottom left. Serral pushes through the Lurker. Solar breaks Lurkers, Serral's Lurkers on the right side of the map. So Solar's going to take advantage. And I think Serral Vera, having map control for so long, may have just run into the stiff wall of Korean opposition. Without Viper energy, it's hard for Serral to break this efficiently. He's going to run in here and just burrow on it. He's got some Lings, which actually do a good job of luring some Lurker shots kind of away from his own Lurkers. He has just enough numbers to keep the base alive, but Serral is losing a lot of drones on that base to Zerglings at the same time. And man, it's a messy fight. A lot of his Lurkers have gone down. I'd love to see the units lost out, but there's just so much information to process. Oliveira is going for the drop again. The drops in the Nidus has done so well for them this game. He's going to get the Hive, which is massive. And it feels like attacking is almost always better than defending in team games, as long as you don't get yourself isolated and trapped. Oh, Maru tries to doom drop on it. Oliveira snaps a full drop, but oh god, the parasitic bomb almost kills him. He's going to pull back and drop those units. Oliveira's broke. He's on 110 supply. Oliveira's lost so much economy, and he just doesn't have that much going for him. Serral's still got a decent economy at 65 drones, but Maru and Solar are looking big. They are looking like the big, beefy, unkillable Korean monsters of ages past. This is not what I would have expected with how well the Nidus Worm went early in this game. It really feels like Solar Maru, if they can come back and win this game, which I already think they're in the winning position now, or the advantage position at least, if they can come back and win this game from where they were 5-10 minutes ago, that would be a big confidence booster. I think they'll feel really good about their chances in the next few minutes as well. Oliveira is going to try and defend the bottom left, but Vipers don't care about siege tanks. Luckily for him, Solar doubts the position and backs off for now, but Doesn't matter. Maru on the far right, Solar on the far left. And right now, Serral and Oliveira are caught in the middle with a bunch of very scary Protoss, Protoss, very scary Korean kaiju. Little bit of alliteration there for you. Parasitic Bomb takes out a bunch of medevacs. A whole bunch of them do go down. Marines and tanks trying to march forward. The Lurkers are so good versus the Marines. The Vipers just take out the siege tanks. This is an easy army advantage for Solar. He can push onto this base, no problem, man. And yeah, he's going to march forward those Lurkers. Nidus counterattack for Serral might be the play, as he knows this base will be going down. Ooh, Lurker ambush! Serral set up a Lurker ambush. They're on hold fire, guys. They're on hold fire. Oh my god! Serral's got a Lurker ambush on the right side of the map. They're not watching it. The observer's not watching it. Please, please catch it when that happens. Please catch it when that happens. Oh my god, he's gonna... Go, go, go! Go, Serral! Go! Turn it on! Turn it on! Serral! He releases it! Oh, massive Lurker shots from behind! The Lurker ambush to end all Lurker ambushes. He had them on hold fire till the last moment. Maru's entire army moves into a corner and gets surrounded. I apologize for the volume going up then. I'm trying to move away from the microphone to keep it stable. But that was an insane move. He just slaughtered Maru's army. He was so patient on it. Maru trying desperately to use a defensive nuke. That was wild, wild play from Serral. What a comeback. Oliveira has a handful of Marines and tanks. He's been outgunned and outnumbered. But off the back of that, he finds the ability to counterpush. Somehow he's actually dealt with most of Solar's army. I don't know how he even managed to do that. This is a wild turn of events. Oh my lord. Oh man, and Serral's got the top right base tonight. Guys, Maru Solar are out of mining bases essentially. Oliveira and Serral don't have a lot of mining, but I think they have more right now. Oh my lord. In the bottom left, there's a big skirmish going on that's very important. Oh, it looks like both sides back off, afraid to commit. Serral's going to overwhelm this army, I believe. He's got Lings, Hydras, Lurkers rallying in. I don't know if he's got any melee upgrades, so I don't know how good those Zerglings are, but they seem to be doing all right. And wow. What an absolutely wild play. That was out of this world. All right, what an insane game. Just when I was saying that might be the turnaround that gives them the confidence they need to just crush the rest of this series, and they're starting to look like unbeatable Korean monsters, Serral pulls out the hold fire Lurker comeback. For those who don't know, how do I hold position or hold fire Lurkers? Hold position and hold fire are different things. So hold fire is a separate command that you can put on ghosts or Lurkers. It's basically a mode that you toggle on or off. And when they're on hold fire, they just won't attack unless... Actually, I think you can tell them to attack specific things, but they won't automatically attack anything else, right? So essentially, normally what happens is you just wait until the enemy's right on top of them, and then you turn that mode off so that they get maximum splash damage at maximum surprise. Now, sometimes it backfires because they just scan instantly and kill the Lurkers so quickly. They damage the army, but they don't actually kill anything. But if you have enough Lurkers, surprising enough, catches them when they're not looking especially, it can just annihilate the army as we saw in that last game. So if you look down at your command card in the bottom right when you're playing, you'll be able to play with it. Very rare you actually want to use it, but when you use it, and they happen to stumble over with their army, and you activated it at the right time. My gosh, what a amazing one in 100, 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 moments we just saw. That was beautiful, especially against Solar Maru. I mean, team onside here. Obviously, Serral is for NC Sports, Oliveira for Kaisi Gaming, I believe he's playing for at the moment. So they're not on the same team. But obviously, I think they just decided, hey, let's join together for the star power. And both of our teams are okay with us doing that. Whereas Maru and Solar are like, hey, we've got two absolute stars that are good friends, speak great Korean together so they can communicate clearly. And looks like the SCV Scout does get taken out there. Now, this is interesting. So it's going to be heavy artillery, which is a map where you can mine open the minerals at the front of your base to just below where Maru's camera is right now. There we go, just over to the left side of the screen. And that gives you a quicker path. Otherwise, it's a very long path to attack the opponents, but there's lots of drop paths, and there are a couple of very exposed gold bases in the 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock position on the map. So very top middle, very bottom middle as well. Very dangerous to take those, though, so I don't think these players will gamble on that until much later in the game. Oliveira is going for, once again, Reacted Reaper Hellion play, and Serral appears to be going more of a standard 3 hatchery opening. He went, remember, really quick 2 base meter in that last game. He is taking double gas at once, so Serral, I guess, has gone 3... Oh, he went 3 hatch before pool, did he? And he's going to go Roaches in the follow-up. Okay. All right, so Serral getting a huge economic start into Roaches for safety. And Oliveira's job is to kind of cover him. So Oliveira needs to beat back Maru's pressure. If he loses that fight, he's screwed. But with a tanky queen up front, you'd be hard-pressed to lose a Reaper Hellion battle because that queen, she'll just do so much to discourage Maru from pressing in there. Solar, on the other hand, of course, has more of a 2-base play. Looks like we should see a Spire drop at 340. Not quite as quick as the Spire of Serral, but still very quick into the Mutas. And that means we'll have Muta and probably Bio. Yeah, so Bio, Mutaling Bane for Solar Maru. And it's going to be like Roach, Hydra, Viper, Lurker, and Bio tank for Oliveira. So Serral, if he gets the Vipers, you can shut the Mutas down. The question is, can Solar just get enough map control that him and Maru like out-expand them and tech into the late game with an advantage? Because the Mutas aren't good in a frontal fight later on, but they're so mobile, they force such a response that you can just take more of the map, eat up more resources, and then jump into the next step of the game ahead of your opponent. So what those Mutalisks get done is going to be an important deciding factor in where this match goes. Cloaked Banshee on the way for Oliveira, whereas Raven on the way for Maru. Cloaked Banshee is a pretty bad investment when your opponents have Raven and they're going Mutas. I wouldn't mind him just cancelling the Cloak and the Banshee, personally. You've seen Aspire. You know there's going to be Overseers and Mutas out. Like, Cloaked Banshees doing damage will require some immense secrecy and probably a fair bit of luck as well. You'd need to, like, hide them along the edge of the map, sneak in when the Mutas are on your side of the map, and maybe you'll get a bit of damage. But Oliveira is still committing to it. Infestation Pit already on the way for Serral. So Serral is going to go straight to Hive here. And I think he might just play 3-base Hive. I think taking a 3rd base for Oliveira or a 4th base for Serral is really difficult because it's very spread out. So they might just play a 5-base setup between the two of them. Whereas Maru and Sol are already taking the 6th base. I expect them to take a 7th base in the near future as well. And if they can take a 2-base lead nice and early, it'll definitely give them that economic boost. Does look like the volume went down just a little bit, guys. The volume was crazy before, but it seems like they've changed it. Sorry about that. Go to there. Oh, Mutas catch the first Banshee. Oh my god. Oh god. The Marine's getting outgunned. Oh no. At least the Queens and Marines combined to take out a few Mutalisks. Hopefully there's a turret on that base. Oh, none of the tanks went down, which is important because they need that to defend on the ground. But this is the scary thing. Those Mutas come in, find an opening, get some damage done. They can rotate around the back and find even more. A tank push coming forward as well, which I feel like one of the best things you could do is siege the low ground. You can't really reach the bases, but then you can just be annoying with those tanks sieged on the low ground. But Ravage a tank, that's going to win a tank duel easy. Because your tanks zone out his tanks, and you can always run forward and bile them. Not to mention, Serral's Hive is already almost done. His greed has been just off the charts this game. They're at 111 workers, where it's only 100 and... Well, it's 111 workers on both sides. Dead even on the worker count. Oh, and Serral even dropped Creep to build a Spore Crawler to help cover Oliveira there. Oh, that there. You find yourself a teammate like Serral, guys. Drops Creep, builds a Spore to help cover your base. Very nice of him. Looks like a Mutalisk for a turret there. Not a bad trade if you can get more damage off it, but individually not the greatest. SCV's forced off the line, and Serral's going to use Biles to try and scare back the Mutas. That is hilarious. You do not want to lose Stim. Stim's getting very low. Does hit the eBay accidentally with one of those, but hey, Corrosive Bile does scare those Mutas back, along with the Marines and whatnot popping out. 5 siege tanks are out. Wait, are we playing mech? No. He's going bio, of course. He's playing Stim as Oliveira. It's just very late this game. Trying to build his 3rd command center. Solar's already going out to a 7th base. And I say, of course, cumulative base count for that side. Whereas still stuck on 5 bases is Serral Vera. Oliveira's supply especially hurting after the Muta damage. Oh, the Stim's so close! The Stim is, it goes down at 99%! Welcome to Tilt Town, Oliveira. Serral comes in, he says, don't worry, I got you, bro. Drops 3 parasitic bombs. The bees take out a lot of those Mutalisks. Many of them die, but having lost Stim, it means Oliveira really doesn't have a lot of power with his Marines. On the other hand, he has so few Marines, maybe it doesn't matter that much. As long as he remembers to rebuild it. It's annoying, but it might not be as important as it would be in a game where he was much more Marine focused. Instead, he's been more focused on the tank production, and he will be able to recover. But Oliveira is still sub 100 supply. Serral is almost max, though. My god. I mean, this was part of the opening. You can look at this and say, oh, Oliveira is bad, Serral's good. But remember, his job was to do the 1-base Reaper Hellion opening. That's what covered him. Oh, Oh, Maru! Maru goes for a Doom Drop in the back. Oh, this is a potentially game-winning play. Good SCV pull to save those. But Serral needs to get back there and drop Blinding Clouds. With Blinding Clouds, he can do it. He's going to go for a Parasitic Bomb to start. But a great split from Maru. The Command Center is going to go down. Serral's counterattacking with Roaches and with the Marine tank. They're going to try and punish Maru for this move while they defend with the Rally, which means there's fights happening in two places at once. Blinding Clouds will allow Serral to defend at home. Interference Matrixes for Maru, plus those Mutas do take out one of the tanks, but it looks like the Marines push back the other units. Who needs Stimpack? Blinding Cloud cleans up those tanks. Maru pushed out of the main. Solar loses that base out front. This is a very good reaction by Serral Vera. They've done some great counter damage. Unfortunately, Oliveira is looking like a dog missing a leg right now. He's limping along in this game, and the longer it goes, Solar Maru will out macro. So Serral Vera need to use that Lurker, that maxed Roach army, to do more. If they can get another base or two macro up behind it, that'll be good. The problem is there's not a lot of mobile anti-air, so these mutas have been annoying. Finally, they're dealt with. The last mute is taken off. Solar's going for a big Ling run by. That could cause a lot of troubles as well. Oliveira's economy is going to go from bad to worse when those Lings hit. It does look like Maru has to cancel an orbital, or maybe it was a planetary actually, I think, and lift that one off. Oh, this is that Ling run by I was talking about. Oliveira's getting minced, man. Okay, I think Serral's like, screw it. He's like, we're taking too much damage. I have to go now. If I wait too long, I'm going to be screwed. The Blinding Cloud's pretty big. Oh, they don't have scan. They don't have detection. You're kidding me. Serral Vera don't have scan energy because he's been dropping mules. Oh, they should have been able to break that position, but they didn't have any scans. Maru and Solar hold on with Solar's Lurkers because there's no Overseer and no scans from their opponents. I actually think Serral Vera were going to break through and win the game there. But because this buys a few extra seconds, so many units are pumping out of Maru and Solar's macro. They've done great Ling backstab damage. Oliveira is not really complementing much because his economy is so slaughtered. I think they've survived the most dangerous part of the game. I think they've actually survived the most dangerous part of the game. Oh man, that was crazy. What do we got? We got Lings in the top left side coming on down here as well. And, okay, we got Roaches coming on up. Marines trying to pull out to the left. Armory goes down, gets rid of Maru's +1 vehicle weapons. Oliveira is the drop god, but they got to be careful. These Ling run bys being a nuisance. Oh, man, almost 150 workers for Solar and Maru. Solar's drones, for some reason, are in the back of this base. A bunch of units go down, but the tank siege is up. The Viking pushing it back as well. Oliveira's got to get out of there. And Oliveira at 85 supply. I mean, what? He's trying to build SCVs 3 at a time? But he just has so little to complement Serral's army, and I feel like Serral needs to be trading and damaging the economy of these guys especially. This next fight has to be good for Serral, or he's going to get smashed in this game. He gets 4 Lurkers there with the early Abducts. Nice Abduct for Solar, though. Focuses down one of his Vipers with the Abduct and the Hydras. Maru comes in with a lot of Marine Marauder Medevac as well. That's a ton of Medevacs. He's going to go for a Doom Drop. He realizes that Serral can't cover both fronts at once right now. Oliveira is working with the dregs of a Terran economy. And I think Solar Maru is doing a really good job of this. Oh, they catch Serral's Lurkers in the bottom. Look at that Blinding Cloud. Just shutting those down. Gonna abduct all these Lurkers into their death. Hydra's coming forward to clean up the rest of it. Doom Drop going in towards the main base. And look how far they have to move because they never opened the minerals. Serral and Oliveira never opened the minerals, so their army has to go the long way around to get back up here, and Maru once again working the Doom Drop angle. He's going to click the command center. It does lift off, which means only the Marines can hit it. That might save the day. Big attack on the front from Solar as well. Uh-oh. This is just a swarm of Korean power. And despite Serral having sick Lurker Viper tech timing, Maru cracking up. He's straight up laughing. He's like, you know we were dead if they had scan, right? And Solar's like, yeah. Legends. All right. Oh, bit of stress there. Serral's been tousling the hair, you can tell. Maru still looks very calm. I think he's just picking up a cloth to clean his mouse with. Solar's chatting, as always. Maru giving his thoughts as well. In the top, we've got Serral and Oliveira on Roskalion. Quite a long rush distance map, joined bases, and it has also got 2 watchtowers covering the main middle paths. This is the best map in the pool for Reapers. But Maru in the bottom, Solar also in the bottom. Don't show any sign of abusing it. Neither side does. For those who don't know, this map has some of the most abusive Reaper ledges there's like gigantic ledges on basically every single edge of the base. It is crazy how much you can bounce them around. If you guys ever play this map, basically just prepare to counter your opponent's Reapers with your own one base all-ins. Probably a good idea. But for the top pros, they don't put any stock in that 3 racks Reaper silliness. Especially not the team game variations. So a lot of team game players go reactor first, which really slows down the initial Reapers. But it just is, it's very easy to do and easy to then get lots of Reapers coming out at once. Whereas the 1v1 version, you want those first Reapers hitting immediately to get damage. Do you guys just see Oliveira? He just tossed his head back. I think maybe his neck's a bit stiff. Trying to relax that one and look up into the air, stretch his neck out a little bit. Maybe a bit of frustration. That last game, Oliveira didn't have a lot of agency after his main got doom dropped the first time. He was just kind of down and behind from then onwards, and it felt like he was always playing second fiddle and just couldn't really get a lot of momentum going. All right, we've got the reactor on the way for Maru as well as Oliveira, so they're both going for that, but of course the command center did finish or already start a lot quicker for Maru. Wow, fancy dance there. Maru gets out, he loses the fight, has to back off, but he doesn't lose the unit, which is the important part. But yeah, Maru's got a much quicker command center. It just started for Mr. Oliveira, who's pushing this Reaper away. Doing a good job of controlling vision in the middle of the map. Looks like Maru's going to go in for a bit of a scouty scout. Oh, actually, sorry, that's back to his own base, isn't it? They're at the bottom, never mind. Solar's going Baneling Nest and Zergling production, and Maru is building Reapers and Hellions right now. Serral's doing an angry adjustment of his chair. Solar stroking the chin a little bit. Serral, Vera don't seem to be preparing defensively, but lots of Hellions on the way for Oliveira. So Oliveira is pumping out Hellions, some Zerglings for Serral. I don't know if he has a Baneling Nest or a Roach Warren. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. This could get scary. Bigling Bane attack, backed up by Hellion Reaper, hard to stop. The Hellions of Oliveira have some heavy lifting to do, but he sees it coming. That's the important part. His Hellions have to do well. He's building a Liberator and a Marauder as well. Nothing shoots up with this attack, so the Liberator will basically end it. But that's a while away. It's 30 seconds away, so they've got some time to get some work done. Serral's trying to make a Roach Horn. It's not ready just yet. His Lings, Serral's Lings, not the most useful in this fight. I think he'd be better off, honestly, just doing a run-by with his Lings and trying to intercept the rally. Because the moment the Banelings are here, his Lings aren't very useful. So I think Serral's missed that opportunity to sneak out with his Lings now. And he can dance, but how much? Oh, the Marauder does do a lot of damage to the Banes. And nice focus fire on those Banelings by Oliveira. Spinecrawler's trying to build. It's not ready just yet. Oliveira's focused all the Banes down. Great focus fire from Oliveira. We talked about how that would be the deciding factor in this possible defense. If they can save this hatchery, that'd be big. Solar and Maru pulling back to the hatchery, realizing, okay, we need to at least kill that hatchery. We've committed so much. So they're going for the hatch, trying to bait them down, but Oliveira's Hellions are getting work done. All the Banelings get focused down as well. A lot of the Hellions are weak, though, and Maru still has a lot of Reapers in there, so you can't... One good Reaper grenade from Maru, he kills all the Red Hit Point Hellions. This spirals out of control. That being said, the Liberator is out. I don't know, is it across the map? There's something doing damage to Solar's natural. Solar's smiling and talking. I think he lost his queen. I think he lost his only anti-air on his natural. I believe there's a Liberator over Solar's natural right now, guys. Unfortunately, I can't control the camera. Roach is trying to focus the Banelings down. Lings! Oh my god, the Hellions pull back Serral! Serral, okay, goes back at the perfect time. The Banelings are all gone, and the Hellions are getting the work done. Oliveira having some barbecue. I gotta say, guys, it feels like an Australian Christmas. That's right, we're in the Southern Hemisphere. It's hot. And right now, he's tossing a heck of a lot of Zerg shrimp on the barbie. Solar is like, I'm dead. He literally, look at that posture. He's given up. Maru's like, come on, man. I've still got to pack a Reaper Hellion. We can maybe do it. But Solar's body language is saying something completely different. He's saying, we are so screwed. I can't do anything right now, man. I feel really dead. I don't know what to do. Oh, this feels bad. Serral set up for a Ling run by. Serral's into Roach tech. Roaches with Hellions behind is basically immune to this army comp. Maru gets in with a Banshee, though. He's at 69 supply. For those who don't know, I both read tea leaves. You guys can sign up to my Patreon Diamond Leviathan tier if you want to get a special palm reading And I believe the power of 69 is one of the most numerology favored things in StarCraft that people need to focus more on. Maru does go past that number though, which may be handicapping himself, but he's almost at 42 workers, which of course will give meaning to the life of many nerds out there. Solar with 27 drones, still only on 2 base. His economy sucks, but Maru is leading. He's on the same economy as Serral in terms of workers, plus he's got mules dropping. The Banshee doing some damage in the backline. This Banshee's doing work, man. I mean, there's Banshees, and then there's that Banshee. Solar has a smile on his face. Solar's starting to believe. Maru's like, you see what I can do? Remember, you're playing with God on your team right now, Solar. Don't give up hope. Believe. Believe in the Banshee of Maru. Solar's suddenly looking very focused again, realizing that a comeback is absolutely possible. Oliveira has got to be tilted right now. He's taking way too much damage to this Banshee. Oh man, he drops an auto turret, and even that is not placed correctly. Oliveira is in tilt town right now. I think that last game made him a bit annoyed, threw him off. Serral's Queen walks off creep. A full screen and a half to defend that. Maru is butchering Oliveira right now. He's dicing him up into pieces, and he's putting Oliveira into such a bad position that him and Solar are both in comparably bad positions right now. They're both in really rough spots. Oh man, finally the Banshees go down. But Oliveira is on 23 workers. He's in an even worse position than Solar. I think he has a 3rd command center finish though, so maybe not. With mules and 3 CCs building, remember Solar's still only 2 base. Maru's economy is only 36 SCVs though, and as much as I hype that up, Serral's like, hey guys, Pig, I'm on 70 workers. I'm like, oh, I see that, Serral. He's like, stop talking like they have a chance. I have 70 workers. I am a beast. Well, yes, he also had a giant economy in that earlier game and failed to hit a lurker timing to take advantage of it. So I still think there's hope here for Maru and Solar. It's pretty small, don't get me wrong. That economy of Serral looks so scary that I think he can 1v2 them with a Mass Roach Ravager army. But it's 2v2. Wilder things have happened. Some harassment in there. Looks like another Banshee in for Maru. But, of course, Cyclone Raven not going to be leaving that in there for too long. Whoa! What is the Cyclone range? Are you serious? I thought he'd moved it out far enough to break it. Clearly, Maru thought the same thing. And he did end up losing that a little bit quicker. Serral's going Hive as well. Yeah. Serral believes in the power of the Lurker. The Roach Hydra Lurker Viper it's just such a solid comp. And he's really been getting up to it very quickly. Oliveira is back up to 37 workers. Solar's on 53. Now, Solar's playing Mutas versus a guy whose Hive is almost done. So I actually really wish Solar tried to just macro up and play his own Lurker game here. I don't think Mutas is going to pay off, just because the Vipers are going to be out around the same time the Mutas start hitting a critical mass. And that means they're not going to get much damage done. Finally, that backdoor being abused by Maru's Reapers. He comes on in, but unfortunately they are ready for him. So he's just going to go in, hops in, and then turns around, grabs his hat off the coat rack there, and immediately walks back out and says, oh, this isn't the store I meant to be. Oh, accident, sorry. 4 Vipers. 5 Vipers on the way for Serral, my lord. Okay, I think he's seen the Mutas, right? So he's like, well, let's just overcommit so I can use that and still have Blinding Clouds and whatnot left over. Muta's doing a good job on Serral's 4th. Serral doesn't really have any mobile anti-air. He's going to wait for Oliveira to move down there. But the Reapers of Maru. Maru has a smile on his face. That is the smile of a man who is bullying Oliveira. He's not even trying to fight Serral. He's like, Serral's too strong right now. We're going to go for the weak guy and try to rip him off, man. Queen's trying to pick off the Mutas as well. Finally, the turret's up. I feel like there's a winning battle psychologically for Maru and a losing one for Oliveira. But maybe Solar's a bit screwed once he starts getting parasitic bombs dropped on him as well. We'll see how it goes, man. Ghost Academy's on the way for Maru. He's going to go to the big late game army. EMP will be huge if you can land that on the enemy Vipers. Serral Vera at about 290 supply versus about 250 for Solar Maru. So it's only a 40 supply advantage right now. And 116 workers for Serral Vera. Solar Maru at 120 themselves, almost 130. And look at that, Ling Bane. Oh man, the Vipers. Those tanks ain't going to do much, man. He's just going to abduct the tanks in. The Vipers are big. Blinding Cloud could go down to the Marines as well, but he doesn't even need to. There's just not enough units. He's got more tanks further behind, but he abducts the Blinding Clouds. Oh, Maru's just getting pushed through. He just doesn't have the numbers to defend this army. And remember, because Solar went muted, he doesn't really have much there. Maru's also got a double drop on the far left side of the map, so he had a lot of Marines doing counter damage. Ooh, got a little bit of team voice there, do we?
Nice.
Okay, just a couple of nices. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah. Solar looks tilted as all hell. Maru, though, has a big fat smile on his face. He's like, dude, I killed so much with those Banshees. I enjoyed that. We may have lost the game, but Oliveira is mentally broken. All right, guys, going into Sludge City. And oh my God! Are you doing well, son? Are you winning, son? Look at that again. I saw the clip of this. I was wondering what game this was from. I don't know why I'm watching it a third time. We can all only wish that we had Serral's dad checking in on us. That's so funny. There's just something about the way he peeks his head and he's like, 3-2, good. My son's winning again. And just disappears out the door. Serral's dad's a legend over there in Ponainen, Finland, which I'm butchering pretty hard, but Serral, Vera, are up here in the top side. And it looks like this is a map where you're a little bit more split apart from your ally. Maru Solar in the bottom. No one swapping back to Protoss in this series. If Reyna was in this series, of course, we'd see a bit more Protoss action mixed in, a bit more race switching, I think. Chat says it's not his father, maybe grandfather. Oh, really? I thought it looked kind of like his father. Give me some loot. From like the old like signature series? Maybe not. I can't quite remember what his dad looks like, but I thought that was his dad. Obviously it was pixelated and not for that long that we saw him, but yeah. Either way, this is a fun series at this point, man. I really feel like I love seeing Maru and Serral both smile so much. Maru especially in this series. I feel like because he's facing Maru, Serral's not smiling nearly as much as he was in the other series we've cast of him in this 2v2 tournament. But right now it's a best of 7 for those who don't know. So it is first to 4 wins. So if Serral Vera win this map, they will close out the entire series and go to the top 4. And it looks like both sides are fast expanding. Oh, actually, no, Maru's not. So Solar's doing the 3 hatchery before pool, and Maru's doing the 1 base opening. Whereas Serral and Oliveira are both just taking a single expansion each. So kind of standard 1v1 builds for Serral and Oliveira, whereas Maru's going to be trying to 1v2 them for a little bit in the early game, put on some heavy pressure, and then Solar's going to be exploding economically behind it. Chat's pointing out there's 2 gold naturals. Wait, really? Oh, is this a crazy map? Oh, I didn't even realize. Oh, this map. Oh, I think this one is actually in the team game pool, right? Or maybe it's not. It could be a special map they added in there. Let me know in the Twitch chat. Sorry, guys, I didn't actually pay attention to the map on the load screen because they've all been ones I'm familiar with. But gold, natural expanse, and Solar took both of them. So he's going to be able to saturate that really quickly. Whoa. This is definitely not in the current pool, chat says. There's also gold bases out in the middle as well. There's going to be so many minerals. My gosh. So Solar's just going to hold that drone. I think this is a really smart way to take advantage of the gold bases. I really do. Because Zerg is so quick to saturate them, whereas mules don't get any advantage from mining a gold mineral versus a regular mineral. A drone is getting escorted out of the base, it looked like. No. Solar sends it back. I think he was thinking about getting a 4th base up. He's decided against it. He said, okay, I think 3 queens on 3 hatcheries should be enough. He's wrong. I think he was right to think of that. If he can get a 4th and a 5th hatchery up pretty early, because like double gold base, you are going to have a ridiculous amount of minerals. It's basically like he's already on 4 base economy once he saturates the 2nd and the 3rd. And that is, of course, a huge boost to your income. Solar is going to be feeling very rich this game, and he's going straight for Lair and Ling speed. Is he going to go Bane speed straight away? Interesting to see what he does with this. I mean, Zerglings are very mineral heavy. You could go Massling Bane, it's viable. He can also share minerals, of course, as well. I think at 3 minutes, you're allowed to share resources. We saw some of the Chinese players experimenting with that in some of the previous games. Didn't go too well, but a cool idea nonetheless. Here we go. Nice little Hellion Zergling pressure. It's not that big of a commitment, but it really puts the pressure on. Already denying mining. Doesn't quite finish off the SCV though. They got to be careful. They don't really want to fight the queens. Just forcing the queens out here.
반차네. 반차야 반차.
Oh, we've got comms. We've got comms of Solar Maru.
어? 나 그냥 간다. 어디가?
That surprise sound from Solar is legendary.
탱크 나왔어. 탱크 나왔어. 탱크 나왔어. 오케이. 테란 죽이러 간다.
I wish
뜬다고?
I wish we had a translator.
빨리 떠야 돼.
All right, looks like they've turned off the comms now for the players. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing a little bit of Solar and Maru. I feel like I can hear the question marks in everything they're saying because they clearly are kind of figuring things out as they go. They're not as refined with 2v2 strategies and they're trying to react to their opponents, but Maru gets massive damage on Oliveira's mineral line. And this is, oh, again, it's Oliveira who Maru is really bullying in this game, right? He's really backstabbing him a lot. Serral said something.
Here and check.
That drop is tilting him. Maru's being really annoying. Oliveira needs to pull off the map to defend that, and yet his job was map control. This is awkward. All right, I'm gonna stop trying to catch their actual in-game comms. It's a bit too hard to predict, guys. If I talk over them, I do apologize, but a cute little bit from the production to include those comms. Unfortunately, the audio levels aren't very balanced. Is this team voice audio for ants? I absolutely agree. No way to do it without constantly adjusting the volume. I'd either be deafening you guys or with the music, or making it very quiet with the other sounds, so I apologize for that one. Obviously, a bit experimental, casting off these clean feeds. It's not the same production I'd like to run if I just had the replays myself, so thanks for the patience, everyone watching. That's a big muta wave from Solar. Solar's playing double gold base into mutas, not what I expected, but I guess it kickstarted his economy, and now he's going to do it. I'd like to see Solar drop like 3 more bases behind this as well. The mutas, though, are ransacking. Oliveira once again getting bullied, and you know what? They've realized that he tends to commit more to the early game, and then Serral is meant to help defend afterwards, but Serral is not mobile. Serral's playing Roach Queen into Hive Lurker every game. So Serral doesn't have mobile anti-air, number 1, to help with. Number 2, Roaches aren't that mobile for a long time either. So simply by avoiding the frontal attack where Serral can deal with them and just constantly harassing with air and drops, it's basically putting Oliveira in this position where he's like, hey, it's your job to cover me now, Serral, and then I'll be good in a few minutes. And they're like, yeah, Serral can't help you that much. Look at this. Oh my god, Raven Muta overwhelming the Queens and the Cyclones on top of the production. This is a disaster for Serral Vera. Muta Raven combo coming in there with the Wombo and absolutely smashing. Dude, Maru and Solar are ransacking Oliveira's base. He is way behind. Now, Maru's economy isn't absolutely soaring. He's only at 50 workers, but he's over 10 workers ahead of Oliveira. He's up a base, and of course, Solar equal with Serral in terms of their overall supply. The scary thing is, of course, the fact that Serral does have a hive. He's going into more Queen Roaches. He's going to have that very scary big army eventually, but Oliveira is not going to be able to back him up with very much. Roach run by coming in. I like that Serral's trying to do that. Going for the drones, though, probably a better target. That hatchery, very unlikely it goes down. That's going to be an issue. Parasitic Bomb scared off Solar's mutas. Looks like he did a pretty good split. Remember what I was talking about with taking more hatcheries for Solar? The reason is gold-based minerals mine out really fast, number 1. But number 2, you're always going to float minerals with 2 gold bases. So he's got a 4th up. You can see Solar's floating a little bit of minerals, and I'd like to see him keep on taking bases all along that top right and bottom left side of the map. Maru is still looking pretty good, though. He's going into just more biotank. All of his upgrades are starting to come in. And Solar starting to tech up closer towards the transition into his own Lurker Viper. But it's still a little while away. Oh, Solar finds the Vipers. He's going to dive. He gets 1. He gets almost gets a 2nd, but the Parasitic Bombs actually do really good damage, and quite a few of his Mutalisks do get popped there. Loses about 5 or 6 mutas. The rest of them heavily wounded. Serral is forced back in the middle of the map, though, as he doesn't have much anti-air. The Marine tank in the bottom left, Oliveira finding a way to get damage done, and he's got a third secured behind it. Oliveira fighting back. He says, I will not be the bully victim. I feel like we're watching Bully Strikes Back, you know, Korean bullies, Chinese wimp. Little does he know what he's getting in for. Unfortunately, Solar says, no. Plot twist, the Korean bully wins this one. The Mutas shut that push down. The mass repair saves the command center. And in this case, there will be no revenge for the atomic wedgies that they've been giving to Oliveira's economy all game long. Serral's trying to take the gold base in the middle of the map. Parasitic bombs going out on those Mutt-Mutts. But Solar's committing. He committed on the Vipers. And the Marines coming in for Oliveira. They clean up the rest of those Mutas. It looks like 3 Vipers have gone down for Serral in total. He's down to just 2 Vipers with a Roach Ravager army. His Roach run-bys are doing pretty good damage. He's keeping Solar disrupted. Serral's keeping his supply up, but Maru denies the base. Great tank position on that ridge line. And I think Serral should go to the top right with these Roaches. Looks like he may have done a little bit of a cheeky F2 there, gathering his forces. Maru's trying to come home to help and defend. Serral can easily 1v1 either of these guys. Easily. Oh no! Hydra's off creep with no upgrades! Oh no! Solar caught out! He doesn't have move speed on those. I don't know if he has range yet, but he didn't have move speed. He has to pull the drones. Oh, Serral gets this fantastic engagement. And in the bottom left side of the map, off camera, Maru just went for a doom drop, and Oliveira found it in the corner of the map and has chased it away. So Maru's coming back home, tail between his legs. He finally gets over here with these units, and Serral even finds the top right. He kills Solar's 4th. He's denying mining on the 5th. Serral Chad moding it. Oliveira is getting up a decent economy behind it as well, and it feels like that's all good. On the other hand, Serral hasn't been able to establish a 4th either. So we shouldn't overstate him killing a base. He still has good supply, but Serral's income is nowhere near what it would have been if he could actually keep a 4th base up. And here we go, catching Maru again is Oliveira. He's going to try and get this base. Mass repair, not going to save it against that number of Marines. Oh, look at the sandwich, though. Nice sandwich here for Maru. Comes in with the SCV, pulls some auto turrets. I don't know if it's enough. There's so many Marines for Oliveira, and not all of his tanks are there. Oliveira gets a good fight. Marauders are no good versus the Marines. It looks like with the SCV pull, Maru barely hangs on, but Oliveira got a very good fight there. Serral calling for help right now. They're trying to organize, but it's so much chaos. It's so hard to adapt on the fly. Serral gets rid of another base with his Roaches, and he's still denying that top right as well. Solar back to 3 bases, Maru back to 2 bases, and it looks like Serral Vera may actually be able to win it. Solar with the body language, hand up on the chair, realizing that this may not be going their way. I thought they were large and in charge. They were bullying Oliveira. They found the weakest link, but you know what? That was his job. Oliveira says, you thought I was being bullied? I was the sponge. That was my entire job. I was the support. You ignored the hard carry, you fools. Serral was out farming jungle all game, and you thought ganking the support repeatedly was going to win you this game? Oh, no. Not at all. Oliveira has taken punch after punch. He was the Rocky Balboa of this, while Serral just did, he basically was like, okay, I get to do whatever I want. You get punched in the face, and then he just kind of pops up behind people and slits their throat. Serral garroting nerds left, right, and center. And that is what happens if you ignore the big boy guy. That's going to be a big issue, man. It's going to be a big issue. We've got, Marines. They get another Viper. Oliveira. I mean, he may have been bullied, but he's actually been doing some good pushes as well. I like the way he's been moving forward and getting pushes, even though he's at a smaller army. That base will get cancelled. Solar Maru 250 supply. Right now, Serral Vera at 280, but Serral Vera have an extra couple of bases mining, and that's the big difference right now. Burrowed Roaches are getting caught, but that's keeping Solar busy. And remember, Solar doesn't have a 4th. Maru's just relanded a 3rd. Whereas we have got a fresh 3rd, or relatively fresh, for Oliveira, and a 4th, and now a 5th going down for Serral. You combine that with the fact that they have a bigger standing army, and that gives them a superior position. The next fight, going drastically one way or the other, could still massively change the outcome of this game. The supply is close enough, it's not over, but I feel like Maru and Solar need to find a way to get a harassment across. If Maru could start just getting single, dropships out there with 8 Marines picking away, they can just focus on defending in the meantime and really get some work done. Oliveira's setting up for a flank on the left side here. He's setting up for a flank. He's trying to be very sneaky with the mass Marine. He's hoping to catch them from the bottom side while Serral goes to the top. This is a hard area to engage, though. The cliff with the lurkers on top of it. Ooh. Nice roach run by from Serral. Blinding Cloud's coming in. Blinding Clouds on both sides. This is a crazy fight. Oh, man, trying to push down the ramp, but there's so many Blinding Clouds for Serral, and Serral Vera crushed the lurker push with blinding clouds on that ramp, and they say, no, no, no. That is a ramp too far. You will not break this choke point, son.
아니 감식은 좀 그거 좀 해봐요.
Obviously talking to each other, trying to grasp at straws right now. What can they do? How can they turn this disadvantage to their advantage? Tanks on the high ground. Get a bunch of Serral's lurkers. That's a very good start. The roach run by, though, for Serral, causing a ruckus in the backline. Oh, catching Oliveira's SCVs on the right. Maru getting some big damage. Serral answers with some abducts, takes 2 of those tanks out from the high ground. The lurker tank is still very hard to engage into. Oh, that's where the army is. Oliveira goes for the doom drop. He has 5 full medevacs of Marines. That is 5 times 8. 40 Marines, 2 siege tanks on Maru's main base. Maru's production is checkmated. His economy is checkmated as well. And they have to do it with this army. And he's lost all of his tanks to the abducts. There's a few lurkers, a pack of bio ghost, but there ain't going to be any more Terran units coming out on this map. Solar can still build units for a little bit and try to gather a defense. He's got Vipers, which can obviously blinding cloud to break that position, but not before all the production is gone. And man, what a crazy series this has been. I've had so much fun casting it. It's wild. Just madness, absolute madness. And surprisingly close. People used to always say 2v2 is so one-sided and it just ends suddenly, and it often does, but lately we've seen a lot of top pros playing 2v2 in these fun tournaments, and they're actually having crazy close games consistently. I don't know if it's just the skill level is that high. I also feel like the players have got a much better understanding of how to play team game build orders. Getting a bunch of overlords here and getting into that back base of Solar. Gonna clear out some more of the production over there. Oh, so many drones going down. Solar's gonna tap out. Maru's gonna join him. And Serral Vera looking super hyped over that one. Big smiles all around, and they are so gosh darn excited. Sorry for that autoplay button there on the bottom, guys. Serral Vera gets the 4-2, and they are going to go through to the top 4 of the 2v2 tournament. What chads?